What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to talk to you about NIO. I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility in the stock price, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So starting off with data points, we have a lot of big stuff that's coming out Sunday evening. Industrial production, 6.2 is that forecast. Retail sales at 9 p.m., 5.6 is the forecast. And then unemployment at 5.2%. So a lot of big data that could move Chinese stocks. So NIO will definitely be very reactive to this. In addition to, I feel like shorts. So I'll go over shorts and stuff like that in a second. But nonetheless, this will definitely be something that moves NIO. Aside from that, I'm sure everyone knows about the US downgrade that did come out on Friday after hours. And you did see initially a nice bump up with NIO. So very kind of odd for that. But at the end of the day, I feel like there will be a quick rotation possibly into foreign countries. So NIO might get a little bit extra volume on Monday. It will be most likely temporary, but I feel like there will be a nice kind of attention being done. And it did get dragged down slightly after hours to that 50-day moving average. But nonetheless, though, I feel like NIO with data points, and one other point that I'm going to talk on is going to be kind of a heavy volume stock. So something to kind of keep in mind. But the only other thing that is planned is deliveries starting May the 20th of the refreshed ES6 and EC6. So most likely there won't be any official news associated to this, but maybe some posts online or something like that. But this is more of an FYI, not really a good catalyst to stop what you're doing and buy NIO because of this, nor is it a reason to sell, but still a good kind of FYI, aside from the registration numbers that will be coming out on Tuesday. But like I said, shorts will be very reactive to a lot of that data. So they might be returning on Monday. So going into this week, 12.78% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 203.26 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is 8.28%. So that's actually gone up slightly over the last little bit. Short score is 79.31. So the higher the number, the higher the likelihood of a squeeze happening. So potentially you could see a lot of attention for NIO, especially going over here. You do have a lot of in the money options. So looking here from Friday, so expiring May the 16th, you do have 10,000 at that 3, 4,000 at that 350, 66,000 at that 4. So with it closing at $4.10, that means the $4 strike prices and below are all considered in the money. It would have been ideal for it to close above 5 because there was 123,000 in the money, or open interest at that $5 strike price. But regrettably, that's kind of the downside of doing options. But nonetheless, the 66 to the 10 between the 3 and the 4 dollar strike prices, that works out to be just shy of roughly around like 8 million shares that do need to be covered. There was some abnormal transactions occurring on the dark pool after hours, but definitely not enough to cover those shares. So most likely you'll see a nice little bump up come Monday. So this is where things could get very interesting for NIO, because you'll have that initial bump up. Let's say this data points do come in better than anticipated, so you'll have a additional bump up because of that, and then you'll obviously get a lot of attention because of the US downgrade. So I think at the end of the day, if all of that comes out and all the dominoes line up, then you'll definitely see a very nice push higher. So let me know your viewpoint on that. NIO right now with that $4.10 trading between this R1 and the pivot. So 384 is going to be a strong support, and then 438 is going to be the next strong target / resistance, which could be touched given all the potential hype and momentum for it today. Could be touched in the early part of the week, either Monday or Tuesday, in my opinion. But going into this week, you are seeing it pretty much on that 50-day moving average. So after hours on Friday, kind of got dragged down to that. So $4.07 is going to be a key point to really watch for. So that's that 50-day moving average. Then you have that 100 at 422, and then the 200 at the 456. So all in all, definitely there's a lot of good opportunity for NIO to really get above. It just needs to really push above that 422 early on in the week. week, set the good momentum, and then this is where you could see a retest of that 200-day moving average. But at the same time, shorts get very active during close to these moving averages, so just anticipate a lot of battles throughout the week between institutions, technicals, shorts trying to suppress it. It's going to be a fun time. But for those NIO investors that have been in it for the last 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, you know this happens time and time again, all these kind of micro intraday battles, and it is just shorts trying to always suppress it on a technical standpoint. So letting just anticipate that ultimately. But one thing I do want to bring up, latest Morningstar report that just came out, I believe it was mid last week, does show the fair market value for NIO being $5.60. So pretty good stuff as far as that. And there hasn't been any new analyst ratings. So last couple of ratings did come out. I think it was it shows yesterday, but that one was posted, I believe, Thursday evening. But $4.91 is that consensus over the last 3 months, and that does represent a 19.76% upside. So pretty good stuff as far as that. So Vijay, 48% success rating, $4 price target, Mizuho, so pretty good for that. So let me know your thoughts. Where do you see things going? In my opinion, I think that this week we will be closing between this R2 and this R1. So there will be a lot of good momentum. I think a lot of that is largely based on this right here, so the data points. If these come in a little bit more negative, then obviously that will kind of kill the early part of the week's momentum, but still doesn't mean it's down and out. But yeah, let me know your general thoughts. Hopefully everyone's having a kick-ass weekend. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon. I give buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point, so definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. But with all that said, appreciate all of you watching.